eventually the district, in my professional opinion, eventually the district should have their entire budget in reserve. So the entire water budget in reserve, the entire fire, lighting, all of them in reserve of some sort or another. So that if we stop getting money today, then we have enough money to operate until we can correct the issue.
Yeah, perfect. Well, the budget would be funded at the beginning of the fiscal year with the previous year's proceeds, revenue.
That would be the best thing.
Yes. Okay. Any other comments or questions on page 12? Do we have any public comment on page 12? Moving on to page 13, are there any board comments or questions on page 13? Mr. Kelly? No. Do we have any public comment on page 13?
No.
Moving on to page 14. Are there any board comments or questions on page 14?
Yes, I have a question, maybe for our CPA, if they know the answer. What is our credit rating for the agency?
I do not know that answer. And it's not, it may actually be in the audit, but it's not anything I ever looked at or addressed.
I think I asked him, I don't think they gave me an answer either, the auditors.
No, he wasn't able to either.
Yeah.
It's
So nothing
not
else.
the audit.
We can look into it, but I don't think anybody knows anything.
It's not something that just comes up to ask for.
So you don't have any bonds that you have issued. So,
The credits that agencies have issued that the taxpayers are paying for, and we have a debt service for the water tank. So
yes, there's a note payable and 2 bonds payable.
So that would affect it.
So that probably is available through the county, because the bonds are with the county.
So
That would
so
be-
if I called the county, they could tell us what the credit rating is in this district.
That's where I would go.
And then they tell me, go call Samuel CSD.
Probably.
Well, we do have to give all
It's
those
either
bond
county or
information to the
state.
auditor, you
It'd
know.
either be county or state.
In that case, we have excellent rating.
Great.
Credit Karma.
Credit Karma, yeah.
But I do think it's something important that our district should at least know, and as a reference point, when we look at these long-term obligations or anything else, that we're not getting hit with any other issues or interest or penalties moving forward.
Did we get the social security number for the CSD so you can check Credit Karma?
No problem. Yours, right?
You have federal tax ID number.
Yeah, you want to pay for everything?
Yeah.
Alright.
So, are we public comment?
Public comment, yes.
There's a public comment on page 14.
Okay. How much is currently owed on the loan for the water tank?
67.
What's that?
No,
It just came back.
no.
Kelly, how much is currently owed on the water tank?
How much is currently owed on the water tank? How many
That's the
zeros
amount.
do you want?
That's monthly, or that's
That's the
the
amount.
So every year, currently the payment is $66,000 a year. But I think we owe a little over 1.2 something.
Got it.
So the bond as of the fiscal year ended June.
Not the bond, the USDA.
Yeah, is it the 1.12?
Yeah, it's the note payable. So
Actually, the note payable, it's a bond, certificate of bond, participation bond, USDA.
Yeah.
Is a bond.
Oh.
And so the principal balance as of fiscal year 2019 would be $1,126,755.
75, I think.
You have interest, that presumably would be paid out over that time period to 2049. Does that sound right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so the interest on that would be $923,000 for a total of about $2 million.
So I'm currently only paying principal?
No, we pay principal and interest with each payment,
So
the
it's-
total of which is
About $2 million.
$66,000 right now.
And there's 10 years left on it?
Is it adjustable?
2049,
2029, it's 2019, so.
30 years.
30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
So the current,
2029 is
It
2019.
says 2039.
Oh, 2039.
Oh, 39.
Roughly 26,000 is principal and roughly 40,000 is interest.
Is it 40?
Darcia, where does
What
it tell,
rate is
can you
it?
clarify?
2049.
2049.
30 more years.
I think we have all this stuff here, I can look at it, I can get back to you.
71.
Wait, you just said that the principal we're paying now is 20-something thousand? And the interest is
Yeah.
40?
I think out of that 66.
Did we buy this on a credit card?
Yeah,
It's a
No,
USDA.
the
loan.
USDA.
The national credit card.
they probably want us to pay them back first,
Yeah,
the interest.
it's very interest heavy in the beginning.
Apparently.
We should probably look into redoing that loan or, you know, revising it with USDA, but
Is there any way to expedite the payment? I mean, it's a dumb question, but you almost have as much interest as you do, well, your loan, the balance is 1.75 mil, and the interest is almost $1 million.
It's like a mortgage on your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the very first years, you're paying almost entirely interest.
And then it'll,
Right.
so the district could probably pay, I doubt there's a prepayment penalty, but, you know, we could probably pay additional principal payments.
Not that water has any money to do so, I was just,
Right.
just throwing it out there.
That's where I'm going. I mean, we could do that if we have enough revenue to do that.
Are we still sharing
What,
again?
Darcia? Go ahead.
Oh, we're
For
doing it this time
reference-
back
I
instead.
vote no.
Yes.
For reference, this is note 7 in the audit, and I'll read the paragraph that does have the details. United States Department of Agriculture Certificate of Participation Bonds issued on August 1, 2008, total $1,250,000. Payable in semi-annual payments, interest rate of 4.375%. Due August 1, 2048. At June 30, 2018, bonds principal balance outstanding was $1,120,675. Required bond principal and interest payments are shown on the following page. So that's the total I was giving you of $1,120,000, principal interest of $923 for a total of $2,043,000.
Is that interest, is that a fixed or a variable?
I think that's a fixed rate.
Yeah.
It does
Yes, it's
indicate, but I
fixed.
believe that it's a 4.375%.
I know USDA at least about a year ago used to have a 3% interest rate loan, so I think we need to look at re-evaluating our loan.
Yeah, I think that would probably help.
And at the same time, I seriously believe we should probably look at our credit rating too, so we don't go, hey, you guys suck, you know.
Well, I think we're in a better position now that we could probably get a better rate. In 2009, when they got that, I'm pretty sure, at least the majority of the people in this room probably are aware of the financial state of the district in 2009, so. It's something we'll definitely put on the top of the list to look into and see where we're going, because we are on the road to getting another loan, so.
No.
Right?
If we can
And when do we
clean this
expect to
one
get
up
that?
and get another one, or before we get the next one, then hopefully the next one will be better.
When do you expect to get that loan?
Well,
Can we not finance both under one loan?
it is possible that we could refinance this loan with the new loan.
Talk to them about that.
It's-
No, it's a bond, it was a bond originally, that's the
That's the bond.
source of repayment. So can you take an old bond and tie it with a new bond?
I don't know, it's
And
through
revolve.
USDA, we can talk to them and consult with them, and they'll be happy to tell us, they're always happy to loan us money.
Shylock, no. Yes.
I think the board has pretty much all knew that's here in regards to when this happened. And over the course of years that I've been following this activity on the board, this topic has come up several times about the USDA loan and what to do about that. And several times it was suggested that Kelly look into that and see if there was a way to change the loan in some way to make it more beneficial for us. Even the discussion of making an extra payment here and there, if that would work. But I don't think it ever happened. And I think it's probably time to ask that to be done. So at least you know, could we get a better situation for us out of that or not?
I agree.
Needs to be
Just-
asked of the general
Yeah,
manager.
just for clarity, although I was around then, it wasn't my responsibility to do that then, it was the responsibility of the general manager, who in fact did not do anything with it, so.
Mhm.
But in my current position, I will work with the general manager to make that so.
Good.
Can we get a timeline on that?
Before I retire.
There's
I can't
so
give you a
much,
timeline
yeah.
right now, because I don't know what it's gonna entail, and if we do, in fact, roll it into a loan with the treatment plant, then it could be as soon as 2 years. If it's not gonna be possible to do that, it could be sooner
Can we
than
at least
that.
get preliminary information before the end of this year?
I will start working on it next week and see where we go.
So a lot of this is to answer your guys' questions, and these are the very things that we wanna do to streamline the finances, and you guys have a better understanding. So, all of this stuff is something that we wanna look at, and we'll look at this in the very near future.
Okay. We're gonna move on to page 15. Do we have any board comment or questions on page 15? Is there any public comment or questions on page 15?
And it's like, page 15.
So we get back to the board, everything like that now?
Back to the board for page 15.
So, I keep reading reports about the fact that, you know, all these, benefit programs are all going broke. Okay, but San Miguel CSD will be able to pay for our employees when they retire, or are we gonna be, our employees gonna be in the same boat when that happens in the next 20, 30 years?
We are making every attempt to meet our unfunded, or to pay our unfunded liabilities to CalPERS, so that we don't end up in the same position as all these other agencies, you know, the city of SLO, Paso, name one, and I'm sure they got a problem. We
Darcy
are-
explained it really well to me earlier too about the Gatsby stuff, so up to you too.
Yeah.
About why we even have to do it, cause nobody had to do it before.
No, it's not that
Or maybe-
no one had to do it
Yeah.
before, it's that it had never been required to be presented on the balance sheet.
State
So the
balance sheet,
state of
right.
California is, the state of California has 200 million something that was, I think it's at least that number, that was retirement. They still have never been required to put on there for health insurance or other benefits. So that number is still a number that no one really knows how much is owed. But currently, they're making all of the districts and at every level, make sure that they're listed on the balance sheet as an unfunded liability and saying, okay, we know we can quantify the retirement benefits and it's this amount. But
Do they still not have to?
they must, I think as of 2 years ago, audit reports as of 2 years ago, were required to report the unfunded liability for retirement, but it's still not required to put health insurance and other benefits on there. Because it would be too,
Scary looking?
yeah.
Is it foreseeable that in the next 20 years that the amount of retirement benefits will be reduced to our employees when they retire from this district?
I have no idea how to answer that question. What they're trying to do with an actuarial is they're saying, here's what age this person retired, and here's what their life expectancy is. So in order to be able to pay for the retirement that was promised to them, this is how long it will take and this is how much you'll have. You might have prior employees that were to pass at 66 years old, but they have a life expectancy of 73. So you
And
wouldn't
they
have to-
changed it to PERPRA now too, and then they talking about changing it even
And they
again.
have lowered, so the current plans, I think, are lower dollar amounts.
Yeah.
So the purpose of doing this is to get ahead of it. We only have one person that's retired from this district. So the payments right now are like $200 a month. But as we have more people retiring and more people are living longer, that number is obviously gonna grow. Now is the time that we can get ahead of it at a pretty minimal rate.
Right.
So that's what this is for, is to address that every year and to budget for that every year.
I don't want to dovetail too much, but it's my understanding that other agencies actually preferred paying into this. Is that correct? Is that right?
I can't address that.
Just as long as we stay on top of it and we don't end up.
Well, that's the whole purpose, because the city of San Luis actually did defer some of their unfunded liability,
That's what I
and
was
now they're
thinking.
paying for it.
Yeah,
Very
Big
nice.
time.
that's all I have.
So,
We're lucky
all
we
right,
only have
thank you.
one.
a question related to that, about retirement. How do you have a policy in the personnel policy or somewhere that designates what the retirement benefits are for an employee?
The state
So
does,
the district has a contract with CalPERS to administer retirement benefits.
Okay.
The district's personnel policy just establishes that you do get retirement benefits from the district. But the CalPERS contract actually outlines what your rate is and when and what age you retire. So the new rate is 6.2% at
no,
6%?
it's like 2.,
No, yeah, 2% at 60, that's what
Right.
it is. 62.
62.
2% at 62.
I think it's
So-
2.5.
Okay, so it designates two, like, say for you and your dependents are part of that retirement?
So when I retire, assuming I retire,
And he
the
stays with
district will
us.
pay a portion of my retirement based on how many years I worked here.
Uh-huh.
I've worked other places, so they pay a portion also.
Right.
But the district will pay their portion of my retirement from here. If I were to die, then they would supersede me in that retirement.
Okay, so that's why we're still paying that one retirement.
Yes,
Well, the one retirement is for a person who's still alive.
But it's for a person who was deceased,
No.
that
No.
employee?
That's
No.
something different.
That,
Oh, that was
that was different, the
And
district
that
isn't
was
planning to
done.
pay.
That's just health insurance and
That's just health insurance?
that one person that you're referring to.
in the past, yeah.
Yeah, but that's no longer happening.
No, it is.
It,
So we're only paying for one person right now, and
it's
he's still
not a
alive.
former- He's still alive,
Yeah.
and he's a former employee.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
But we're only paying a small percentage because he only worked here a short period of time.
yeah, okay.
Okay, any other comments from the public? Moving on, page 16. Do you have any board comments or questions on page 16?
Why is garbage left off of the report?
This is capital reserve. Garbage doesn't currently have any capital assets other than the 8 garbage bins, which can easily be maintained.